If we choose you, will you wear the crown?
Bran didn't win the throne. Tyrion built the ending, and Bran was the safest piece on the board. Because that dragon pit scene isn't a peaceful election. It's a negotiation under pressure. Tyrion is in chains. Grey Worm is holding the capital. The room is split into factions that all have a reason to reject the wrong outcome. So, when Tyrion starts talking about stories, it's not a speech, it's a move.
I've had nothing to do but think these past few weeks about our bloody history.
He's not crowning the best ruler. He's selling the only arrangement that doesn't restart the war right there. And when you actually see the play Tyrion is making in the Dragon Pit during the finale, the ending stops feeling random and starts feeling more inevitable. The finale wants you stuck on one question: why Bran? But Tyrion's last move isn't really about Bran. It's about the position Tyrion is trapped in and what it takes to get out of that pit alive. Because the Dragon Pit Council isn't happening in neutral territory. It's happening while the Unsullied still hold the capital. Grey Worm is in the driver's seat whether anyone wants to admit it. And Tyrion? He's brought out in shackles. So when Grey Worm asks Tyrion to weigh in, it's not respect, it's necessity. Tyrion is one of the only people left who can name an outcome that won't get half of the room destroyed on the way out. That's the first thing most people miss. Tyrion's speech isn't delivered from safety, it's delivered under threat. And threat changes the way you play the game. If you've followed Tyrion across the series, you know his instinct when the board starts shaking. He doesn't chase the most deserving outcome, he chases the most survivable one.
Can I make the little man fly now?
This little man is going home.
Now look who's sitting in that circle. Sansa is there to protect the North, full stop. Yara Greyjoy is thinking about what Daenerys promised her. The new Prince of Dorne is there with his own region's memory and grudges. Samwell has ideas, but no leverage.
Maybe the decision about what's best for everyone should be left to everyone.
Brienne and Davos are stabilizers. Neither one is a claimant. And then there's Grey Worm. He's not there to debate political theory. He's there to make sure Daenerys doesn't die twice. Once in that throne room, and again in the way the realm writes her out of the ending. So, Tyrion's first job isn't pick a king. His first job is to keep the room from detonating. And he does it the only way Tyrion knows how. He makes a move that sounds noble, but functions like strategy. He doesn't float the obvious names.
My lords and ladies,
Uncle. Please sit.
He doesn't pretend this is about blood, right, or destiny. He builds an argument around something stronger than blood in that moment. A story the room can accept without reaching for steel.
There's nothing in the world more powerful than a good story.
And then he slides the safest piece into the safest square: Bran.
And who has a better story than Bran the Broken?
Now, whether you like Bran as king is a separate debate. We're not grading the ending, we're reading the move. Because when you read it like a move, Tyrion's logic snaps into focus. And it isn't because stories, not just that. It's because Bran solves three problems at once. First, Bran doesn't come with a war attached. No army is marching for him. No banners are raised in his name. And after everything Westeros has just lived through, that's not a detail. That's the difference between a decision and a spark. Because when you choose a ruler in a fractured room, you're not only choosing who sits highest, you're choosing who loses. And the most dangerous losses are the ones wrapped in pride, troops, and unfinished grief. Bran doesn't hand anyone a clean, we were robbed story to rally around, so the temperature drops. Second, Bran comes with a name the realm can accept. He's a Stark. By the end, that name has become shorthand for survival. The war against the dead, Winterfell reclaimed, the family still standing when half the great houses are broken. Tyrion understands legitimacy isn't just law, it's perception. It's what people repeat after the meeting ends. So he sells a story the room can live with, and he puts a Stark at the center of it. Third, and this is the Tyrion part, Bran doesn't rule like a man who needs revenge. He isn't chasing glory. He isn't built on ego. He doesn't need to punish the room to prove he's king. And Tyrion needs just that, because Tyrion is guilty in every direction.
Half the people hate me for serving Daenerys, the other half hate me for betraying her.
If the new ruler needs a scapegoat to steady the realm, Tyrion is the cleanest offering on the table. But Bran isn't the kind of king who needs blood to start his reign. So Tyrion isn't just choosing someone who won't tear the realm apart. He's choosing someone who won't turn the settlement into a purge. That's not sentiment, that's survival. The detail most people really miss, Tyrion isn't crowning Bran, he's designing the system. This is where the real kingmaker lands. Tyrion's nomination isn't just a name, it's a blueprint, because Bran, as presented, isn't a hands-on ruler. He's a symbol, a memory, a figure the realm can point to while the machinery runs elsewhere, which means power shifts to the council and to the hand. So when Bran names Tyrion Hand,
"You will be my hand."
the show frames it as punishment.
He's made many terrible mistakes. He's going to spend the rest of his life fixing them.
You help break it, now you fix it. And it is punishment, but it's also the most Tyrion ending possible.
You're a clever man, but you're not half as clever as you think you are.
Still makes me more clever than you.
Tyrion ends up where he's always been most effective, near the levers. Close enough to shape the realm, far enough to avoid wearing the crown's target.
A ruler who kills those devoted to her is not a ruler who inspires devotion. And you're going to need to inspire devotion, a lot of it.
So listen to Tyrion's speech again and watch what he's doing underneath it. He's not pitching a hero, he's pitching a structure that can hold. A king whose presence calms, not inflames. And a hand who does the day-to-day work. That's stability. And yes, even control. And you can hear Tyrion's scars in every word, because Tyrion learned early that doing the right thing doesn't protect you. He holds King's Landing together as hand, and it still doesn't save him when Joffrey dies.
Gods have made their will known. Tyrion Lannister, you're hereby sentenced to death.
The court doesn't reward competence, it rewards convenience. Then he gives Daenerys his loyalty, his strategy, his counsel, and when she becomes a threat, Tyrion becomes expendable again. So by the finale, he's not playing for gratitude, he's playing for a future that doesn't collapse the moment someone stands up from the table. That's why Bran fits. He's not the flashiest piece, he's the one that keeps the board from flipping over. Because the deciding moment isn't just the knife in the throne room. It's Tyrion in chains, watching the board and placing the safest piece where the realm can keep going. So if Tyrion is the real kingmaker here, it comes down to this. Was this his smartest save for Westeros, or the cleanest self-preservation play of his entire life? What's your take on this moment? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're curious for more, click the video on your screen to watch the next breakdown. This is Thrones and Ladders. Every climb has a cost, and in the Game of Thrones, power always collects.